You walk into the room and your toddler is doing it again. They've lined up all their cars in a perfect row, or stacked blocks by color, or arranged toys in a way that looks intentional. And maybe your first thought is not curiosity, it's worry. Because somewhere online you saw that repetitive play can mean something serious. But here's what I want you to understand right away. Most of the time, this is not a warning sign. It is development happening in real time. And today, we're going to break down what's actually going on in their brain when children play like this. Parents describe this moment, my child doesn't just play with toys, they organize them. They line everything up instead of pretending with them. They get upset if I move one thing. And once that behavior gets noticed, something happens almost immediately. You start searching, comparing, you start wondering if this means something more, and that spiral is very common because online, repetitive behavior is often described in the most extreme way possible. But in real homes, in real children, context matters far more than a single behavior. A child lining up toys is not a diagnosis, it's a behavior. And behaviors always need interpretation in context. So let's look at what might be actually happening. One of the earliest skills children develop is organization. Before they pretend, before they build stories, they sort by color, by shape, by size, by repetition. What looks like just lining things up may actually be the brain practicing. Pattern recognition, categorization, predictability, order. This is foundational cognitive development. It is not random, it's structured learning through play. Sorting is one of the first ways children build thinking skills. Young children live in a world that is constantly changing, so predictability becomes calming. When a child lines objects up, they're creating order in space, control over the environment, visual stability. This is especially common during early development stages where emotional regulation is still emerging. So repetitive play is not just play, it can also be regulation. Repetition often reflects comfort, not concern. Adults see repetition and think stuck. Children see repetition and they see learning. Every time a child lines objects up again, they're reinforcing sequence, spatial reasoning, memory. This is the same foundation used later for math, reading, and problem solving. What looks repetitive may actually be refinement. One of the biggest issues parents face today is context loss. A single behavior online gets framed as meaningful in isolation, but development doesn't work that way. Clinically, behaviors are never interpreted alone. We look at communication, social engagement, developmental progress, flexibility of play, range of behaviors. A child lining up toys in isolation tells us very little. One behavior by itself rarely tells the whole story. There are moments where repetitive play becomes part of a larger pattern, not because of the behavior itself, but because of what exists alongside. Rather than focusing on one behavior, watch how your child's development changes over time. Ask yourself, is play becoming more creative and imaginative? Is my child showing more interest in people? Are they sharing enjoyment and experiences with others? Am I seeing new skills emerge month after month? These patterns are worth discussing with your pediatrician. As children grow, play naturally expands from repetition to variation, from structure to imagination, from order to flexibility. So the question isn't, why are they doing this? It becomes, is their play expanding over time? Because development is movement, not stagnation. Healthy development shows increasing flexibility over time. Here are some key takeaways. Don't jump from one behavior to conclusions. Look at your child's overall development. Notice whether play is expanding over time, not just what it looks like today. If you're unsure, write down what you're seeing instead of relying on memory or anxiety. If this helped you see your child's behavior in a new way, subscribe to our channel. We break down early development in a way that's practical, grounded, and useful for real parenting moments. And if there's something you've been wondering about your child's behavior, leave it in the comments. It may become part of a future episode of The Things No One Tells Parents.